This scene is the spark that set the whole world ablaze. It's not just a pivotal moment in The Godfather, it's a masterclass in the art of power. Every word, every glance, every move carries so much weight that you can practically feel the tension in the room. It's one of the rare moments where the game of power is laid bare, principle by principle. The lessons aren't just buried in the dialogue, they're woven into the very fabric of the encounter. What's more, these principles don't just stop here, they ripple across all three films. But this scene, it's unique. It's the starting point, the moment where the careful balance of power begins to shift. Because this isn't just another movie scene, it's the highest form of storytelling. And once you see the game for what it is, you can't help but play it better. So without further ado, let's dive in. Let's break down the principles, the moves, and the lessons you can apply to your own life, the culture mafia style. Lessons. Lesson 1. This one's very overlooked because of people's tendency to forget that there are a few key fundamentals that you always need. But since most people are quite lazy, going through life as a feather in the wind, they never take time to truly grasp this. What Sun Tzu is basically saying is that the general who wins a battle doesn't just show up and hope for the best. The battle begins long before the fighting does, thinking through every move, every risk, every outcome. By the time the battle starts, he's already won in his mind. That's the kind of preparation that separates the winners from the losers. Now, on the other hand, you've got the general who doesn't prepare, who walks into a fight thinking he'll figure it out along the way. Maybe he's overconfident, maybe he's lazy, or maybe he just doesn't know any better. Either way, he's done before he even begins. And the poor fool who doesn't calculate his moves at all? Let's just say the battlefield isn't going to be kind to him. Here's the point. Life's no different. You want to win? You've got to prepare. Let's talk about your career. You're up for a big interview. Are you walking in cold, hoping to wing it? Or are you the guy who knows everything about the company, the role, and even the person interviewing you? The one who's rehearsed the tough questions, who's already visualized landing the job. You tell me who's walking away with the offer. Now think about money. The smart investor doesn't just throw cash around and cross his fingers. He studies the market, knows the risks, and plans for the long haul. And the guy who skips the prep, he's the one crying when his fortune disappears overnight. And relationships, don't even get me started. The people who succeed are the ones who think ahead and who know how to handle a tough conversation, anticipate what their partner needs, and keep things steady when life throws curveballs. And business? Well, that's the clearest example. A sharp entrepreneur studies the terrain. They know the competition, the customers, the opportunities, and they've got a plan for all of it. But the one who jumps in without thinking, they're just waiting to fail. The truth is, winning doesn't happen by accident. It's built on preparation, on thinking through the angles and knowing what's coming before it hits you. That's why Sun Tzu's words still matter today. You don't fight a battle when the stakes are high without knowing the odds. The time you spend calculating in your temple, that's what determines whether you walk out a winner or get carried off the field. Think about it, plan it, then act. That's how you win. Lesson 2. Have a code of honor. This one for me is the most important. It's why we respect and side with Vito Corleone, even though, let's be honest, he's a ruthless criminal. That's just the truth of it. So why do we find ourselves rooting for such a man? It's because he symbolizes a strong leader who doesn't abuse his power by bullying those weaker than him. He operates with a clear, straightforward code of conduct, and to be honest, that kind of consistency is rare, even in real life. Vito's power isn't just built on intimidation or violence, it's built on principles. He has a code he lives by, always keeps his word, and he sticks to it, even when it costs him. Whether it's saying no to Sollozo's offer or risking everything to protect his family, Vito's strength comes from his ability to stay true to his values. That's the kind of leadership we admire, not because it's perfect, but because it's resolute. And that's why, despite his flaws, we find ourselves siding with him. It's not just about the power, it's about earning respect, even from those who might not agree with you. Now imagine life without a code of honor. You'd be like a ship without a rudder, simply drifting, pushed around by other people's agendas, their pressures, their demands. You're reacting to life instead of steering it. A code of honor isn't just a set of principles, it's a compass. It gives you a direction when things get complicated, when temptations arise, or when life throws chaos your way. It's the foundation you build your decisions on. and without it, you're at the mercy of whatever forces are stronger than you. You gain clarity. You know where you stand, what you'll fight for, and what you'll never compromise on. It makes you stronger, not just in your own eyes, but in the eyes of others. People respect someone who have principles and stick to them. They might not always agree with you, but they'll know where you stand, and that's power. In a world where so many people bend with the wind, having a code of honor sets you apart. It's what makes leaders like Vito Corleone unforgettable. It's what earns trust, loyalty, and respect, and it's what gives you the strength to face life's challenges with confidence. So if there's one thing you take from this, let it be this. Define your code, live by it, and let it guide you. Because a person with no code is just another player in someone else's game. But a person with a code, they write their own rules. Lesson 3. Be cautious of greed. Don't confuse ambition with greed. Ambition without honor is like a ship without a rudder, adrift, directionless, and ultimately destined for ruin. In the pursuit of power and wealth, it's all too easy to succumb to the allure of ruthless ambition, forsaking principles for personal gain. Yet true greatness lies in the delicate balance between ambition and honor, a lesson exemplified by Michael Corleone and the Corleone family's journey. The difference between ambition and greed. Ambition and greed may appear similar on the surface, but they are fundamentally different. Ambition is the drive to achieve, fueled by a vision and purpose that benefits not just the individual, but also those around them. Greed, on the other hand, is a corrosive force, a relentless hunger for more at any cost, often at the expense of others. Greed disregards boundaries and destroys relationships, while ambition, when tempered with honor and restraint, builds lasting legacies. Ambition seeks growth, but greed undermines it. The Corleones understood this distinction, at least in their early days under Vito Corleone's leadership. The Corleone family's story is a cautionary tale of ambition and greed. Vito's balanced approach allowed him to build an empire while retaining the loyalty and respect of those around him. He understood that power without honor is fleeting. By contrast, Michael's later years illustrate the perils of unchecked greed, a path that alienated allies, fractured his family, and eroded the very legacy he sought to protect. The lesson is clear. Ambition is a powerful tool, but only when wielded with honor and restraint. Don't let the pursuit of more blind you to the principles that define true greatness. As Vito Corleone taught us, power earned through respect and purpose endures, while power fueled by greed crumbles under its own weight. That unquenchable thirst for constantly wanting more and more. Keep in mind that greed and ambition are often conflated. While they can be related, it is important to know the distinction between them. This has to be quite nuanced because some people can interpret it and think that having any level of ambition is somehow evil or inherently unethical, which can be true. The relentless ambition of some individuals has always been a source of many tragedies, but at the same time, it's been the source of humanity's greatest achievements. No one in human history has ever achieved something impactful without a certain level of ambition. With that being said, it is a double-edged sword. As you probably know, oftentimes ambition is the catalyst that gains success, but sooner or later, if it turns into greed, add to it a large amount of arrogance. It's not merely about aspiring to achieve the seemingly impossible, it becomes a need to satisfy your ego, even if it's delusional. You rely on your past successes to gauge your capabilities, which, although relevant, don't guarantee the ability to surpass certain thresholds. After all, as the 48 Laws of Power correctly point out, there's nothing more intoxicating than a victory. At the same time, nothing more dangerous. This is something we can learn from Michael. What to do and what not to do. Sounds strange, but I think you know why. Michael's ambition is what saved the family and established it into a billion-dollar dynasty. At the same time, this relentless pursuit had turned his heart to stone. Ultimately, what had started as a burning desire to save his family had eventually engulfed it, burning down everything around it, an all-consuming inferno, engulfing and incinerating everything in its path. To be ambitious with honor is to pursue success with integrity, never compromising your principles for temporary gains. It's about playing the long game, understanding that true power stems from not coercion, but from respect and trust earned through honorable conduct. In the cutthroat world of business and politics, it's easy to lose sight of ethical considerations in the pursuit of success. Yet history has shown time and again, those who achieve greatness with honor leave a lasting legacy that transcends mere material wealth. Embrace ambition, but let honor be your guiding light. For in the end, it's not just about what you achieve, but how you achieve it that defines your legacy. Let the example of Michael Corleone serve as a reminder. Greatness is not measured by the size of your empire, but by the strength of your character. Remember, money is a tool, but being wealthy is a mentality. True wealth is found in abundance of character, wisdom, and influence. Money in this context becomes a mere instrument through which one can manifest their vision and impact the world. Viewing money as a tool is to empower oneself to wield it wisely, leveraging its potential to create value and opportunity. It's about recognizing that wealth extends far beyond bank accounts and investments. It resides in the intangible assets of knowledge, relationships, and integrity, the legacy you leave behind for future generations. In the pursuit of wealth, it's easy to become ensnared by the trappings of materialism, chasing after fleeting pleasures and status symbols. Yet those who understand that true wealth is a mentality are liberated from this cycle of consumerism. They focus instead on cultivating a mindset of abundance that transcends the whole concept of money. Lesson 4. Know when to speak and when to stay silent. This is a lesson that permeates through the most important turning points in the trilogy. The first, of course, is Sonny's outburst in the Sollozo Meeting, which is what put the Corleone family in this mess to begin with. And then there's Fredo. Pretty much his entire character arc in Part 2 is a cautionary tale about not knowing when to keep his mouth shut. I can't be the only one who sort of took Vito's words to Sonny as a call-out to me directly.
Never tell anybody outside the family what you're thinking again.
It's a simple rule, but it carries profound weight. Words have power. They can build alliances, dismantle them, or even destroy you. But when spoken carelessly, they're a liability. Sonny revealed too much to Sollozo, showing not only his own emotional weakness, but also the cracks in the Corleone family's unity. That one outburst cost the family dearly. Silence, on the other hand, is a tool of strength. It keeps your cards close to your chest, making you unreadable. Vito understood this intuitively. In every major decision, whether negotiating peace or declaring war, he was deliberate with his words, speaking only when absolutely necessary. His silence wasn't passive, it was strategic. It gave him time to think, observe, and weigh the consequences of every move. Here's the thing, speaking impulsively like Sonny, or out of insecurity like Fredo, doesn't just make you vulnerable, it exposes your weaknesses to others. When you overshare or speak without purpose, you give away information that can and will be used against you. Worse, you lose control of the narrative. Modern psychology supports this. Studies show that people who talk excessively, especially in high-stakes situations, are perceived as less credible and less competent. In contrast, those who speak less but with precision command more respect and authority. Why? Because silence signals confidence. It tells the world you don't need to fill the void. You already control it. When to speak, when to stay silent. Speak when it adds value. If your words aren't moving the situation forward or strengthening your position, it's often better to say nothing. Stay silent when provoked. Emotional outbursts like Sonny's hand control to your opponent. Silence allows you to regain it. Use silence as a strategy. Silence creates tension. It forces others to fill the void, often revealing more than they intended. When Vito chides Sonny, it's not just about the family business. It is a life lesson. His words are a reminder to all of us. Measure your speech. Don't just talk to be heard. Speak with purpose, or stay silent and let others reveal themselves. If Sonny had stayed quiet, if Fredo had understood the power of silence, their stories might have turned out differently. But maybe that's the point. The power of knowing when to speak and when to stay silent isn't just about avoiding mistakes, it's about building strength. Silence protects, while words, used wisely, can conquer. Lesson 5. Be prepared for all outcomes. We spoke a lot on this, so I just want to give you some practical ways to use it. So, how is this lesson practical for you and me? At first glance, it seems impossible to prepare for every single outcome in life. But after thinking deeply about it, I can confidently tell you that yes, this is a very realistic and achievable mindset if you approach it the right way. How to apply this lesson in real life? 1. Focus on what you can control. You can't prepare for every possibility, but you can strengthen your foundation. Build skills, maintain resources, and nurture relationships that give you flexibility when life throws a curveball. 2. Create contingency plans. As Sun Tzu advises in The Art of War, do not depend on the enemy not coming. Depend rather on being ready for him. Think ahead. What will you do if things don't go as planned? Always have a plan B and even a plan C. 3. Practice emotional resilience. Unexpected outcomes often test your patience and composure. Being prepared isn't just about logistics, it's about a mindset. Develop the ability to stay calm, think clearly, and act decisively, even under pressure. Number 4. Learn from experience. Vito didn't become the Godfather overnight. His ability to prepare for all outcomes was honed through years of observing others, learning from mistakes and adapting to challenges. Use every experience, good or bad, as a lesson to refine your strategy. As Vito Corleone taught us, the true power isn't in knowing what's coming, it's in being ready for whatever comes. Here's the thing about power. Short-sighted moves will kill you faster than an enemy with a knife. That's the essence of Law 29. Plan all the way to the end of the 48 laws of power. It's not just about making the right move today. It's about knowing where every step will take you tomorrow, next week, or even 10 years from now. If you don't have the end in sight, you might as well be walking blindfolded off a cliff. Vito Corleone didn't build an empire by reacting to what was right in front of him. He thought far beyond the immediate. Every decision, every alliance, every calculated risk, it all connected to a larger plan. When Sollozo approached him with the narcotics deal, Vito didn't just see the money on the table, he saw the ripple effects, the loss of his political allies, the attention from law enforcement, the instability it would bring to his family's operations. So he said no, not because he wasn't tempted, but because he already mapped out where that road would lead, and it wasn't anywhere he wanted to go. This is what planning to the end looks like. Vito didn't let the glitter of short-term gain blind him. He stayed focused on his long-term goal, protecting the Corleone legacy and keeping his family in power. That's the brilliance of Law 29. While others get distracted by what's right in front of them, the true power players are thinking 5 steps ahead. Avoiding the pitfalls of short-sightedness. Here's where most people go wrong. They act without thinking about what comes next. Maybe it's a business decision that promotes fast profits but alienates your best clients. If you sabotage because you're too focused on winning the argument, not the war. Or maybe it's a big dramatic move that feels good in the moment but leaves you vulnerable down the road. Think of Sollozo himself. He offered Vito the narcotics deal, expecting him to jump at the chance for more money and power. But he didn't think through the end game. When Vito refused, Sollozo's short-sighted reaction and assassination attempt set off a chain of events that destroyed his own plans. He underestimated Vito's ability to play the long game, and it cost him everything. Application. Plan your end game. This law isn't just for mafia dons or generals, it's for anyone trying to succeed. If you're launching a business, don't just focus on getting it off the ground. Think about where you want it to be in 5 years, 10 years, and build your moves around that vision. In relationships, don't let petty conflicts or impulsive decisions derail the bigger picture. Know what you want: long-term happiness, trust, stability, and act accordingly. Even in everyday life, this law applies. Don't take shortcuts that sabotage your future. Plan for the promotion, not just the paycheck. Think about where your decisions will land you, not how they feel in the moment. The lesson: power is a long game. Planning all the way to the end isn't easy. It takes patience, discipline, and a willingness to look beyond the immediate. But it is the difference between those who win once and those who keep winning. Vito Corleone understood this. His moves weren't about today's battle, they were about tomorrow's victory. The message of Law 29 is simple. Don't just act. Strategize. Think beyond the moment. Know where you're going, and don't stop until you get there. That's how you build power that lasts. Lesson 6. Know who you're dealing with. Do not offend the wrong person. You see, power isn't just about strength, it's about understanding the battlefield. And sometimes the most dangerous mistake you can make isn't losing a fight, it's picking the wrong fight in the first place. That's the heart of Law 19. Know who you're dealing with. Do not offend the wrong person. If you ignore it, you're not just taking risks, you're digging your own grave. Vito Corleone? He knew this law like the back of his hand. When Virgil Sollozo sat across from him, pitching the kind of deal that could make or break an empire, Vito wasn't just listening to the words, he was reading the man. Vito knew better than to underestimate him. Here's where Vito's brilliance shines. He didn't just reject the deal, he rejected it with care, with precision, but with the kind of respect that shows he understood who he was dealing with. When he said, "But I must say no to you, and I'll give you my reasons," it wasn't just diplomacy, it was strategy. He framed his refusal as a matter of principle, not a dismissal of Sollozo himself. But Vito's respect and tact diffused the immediate threat. That's the essence of Law 19. Never assume the person you are dealing with is weaker or less important than you. Why does this matter? Because offending the wrong person can cost you everything. Think about it. In your own life, how often do you really stop to consider who you're dealing with? That colleague who seems quiet? They might have connections you don't know about. That competitor who seems down for the count? They might have a comeback brewing. Underestimate them or offend them without thinking, and you've got a problem you didn't need. Vito Corleone's handling of Sollozo is a masterclass in respecting Law 19. He knew that power isn't just about what you say yes to, it's about how you say no. He didn't challenge Sollozo's strength or ambition. Instead, he kept the door open, leaving no immediate grudge to fester. That's how you navigate dangerous waters, by knowing when to avoid a fight, and more importantly, how to avoid it. So here's the lesson. Never underestimate anyone. Power is often quiet, hidden, and waiting for the right moment to strike. Whether you're at the negotiating table, managing a conflict, or making a critical decision, remember this. Who you offend and how you offend them can be the difference between stability and chaos. Vito knew it. That's why he stayed in control. Law 19 is simple. Respect power wherever it may lie, and never assume you've got nothing to lose. This wasn't just about storytelling. I hope you walked away with real valuable insights that you can start applying in your own life right now. There's still so much I want to share with you, but can't. If you enjoyed this video and got something out of it, drop a comment below. Let me know what resonated with you. And if you're ready to take things to the next level, to truly take over and transform your life, click the link in the description. Let's see if you have what it takes. For those of you who want to get even more raw, no-nonsense practical lessons like this, join our email list. We've got something huge coming. Once again, it was a pleasure. Hope you found this beneficial. But now things are really just heating up. So now, it's time for the next move. Watch this video next. Ciao. See you there.